How's it going, guys? Preston here, Citizen Response. Today we're going to be talking about my ultimate Glock 43X concealed carry setup. Before we get into the main topic of the video, a lot of you guys know I'm an affiliate with Attorneys on Retainer, the best legal self-defense program that you can have in the United States. They'll cover you in all 50 states, cover you in prohibited places as well as prohibited weapons. A lot of things that your average self-defense concealed carry insurance simply cannot do because AOR is a law firm. If you are interested in saving some money on your one-time sign-up fee, use my code citizenresponse down below. Let's jump into the video. When I first started this channel like 7 or 8 years ago, the first gun that I really took my concealed carry training seriously with was the Glock 43X. Now I had a Glock 19 before the 43X came out. It was just a little bit big for me, but the 43X, when it came out, I was very excited. Shot thousands and thousands of rounds through them when I first had them. Now I did go and move on to try different platforms like the 365 platform, the Hellcat platform, but even through all that over the years, I've always owned a 43X of some sort. I've bought and sold numerous different ones over the years, but I've always at least owned one. Now there's a few things that have come out for the 43X in the last few years that made me want to really try it again for my primary concealed carry gun. Kind of one of the big things that drove me back to the 43X was some of the failure rates that we were having with the 365s. A lot of the parts breakage was just simply unacceptable. I actually really did like the Hellcat platforms, but when I just shot the Hellcat Pro and my normal one back to back with my 43X, there's just something about this gun that fits my hand perfect, the way it points when I present the pistol. Everything about it, I've always loved it. But the big thing that has held back the 43X is the magazine capacity to size ratio, as well as the original or lack thereof beaver tail that comes on the gun. I basically have a permanent scar on my thumb from the years of shooting a 43X and getting chopped up by the slide. But there have been a few things that have come out over the last few years that address both of those issues. We're going to talk about the whole setup today. Kind of the heart of the updated 43X carry platform for me are these micro dagger magazines from PSA. Now PSA is kind of hit or miss with the quality control on a lot of their stuff, so I was skeptical when these first came out, and I think for a good reason. I saw that these were having problems when they first came out, but now these are on like the Gen 3, so I waited, a year or two. I just got these within the last few months, and then I threw these CMC base plates on here. These are aluminum base plates because the plastic ones that come on here, they like bow out when the magazine's fully loaded, which to me is unacceptable. I don't even want to have the thought enter my head of the base plate shooting off the gun and all the rounds coming out. So I spent a little extra money, got these aluminum base plates, and man, these mags are awesome. I have run probably 1,500 rounds through a few of these, through a few different guns, and have not had a single malfunction. The only thing that I had happen was on the last round, my slide did not hold open one time. And I think I probably was riding my grip a little high and was probably interfering with the slide catch. I don't think it was the magazines. So yeah, I always thought the 15+1 and the 43X was going to be kind of a pipe dream. But these magazines have proven to be reliable to me, and I do carry with them. Now, one thing you have to note with these, and your mileage may vary depending on your magazines. If you see this little lip right here on the front of the magazine, if your magazine is slightly tilted forward when you insert it into the gun, it will stop. It will not enter into the gun. That's because this little lip right here is catching into this channel where you have your magazine release. And so your magazine has to be tilted backwards. Now, you don't have this problem with the normal 43Xs because they have a complete polymer overmold and they fit perfectly into the magazine well. Now, for me, I really don't carry a reload most of the time, and I have training magazines and I have carry magazines, so I'm not super worried about having to get a malfunction and clear it. Now, if I did, I have practiced enough with these that I can put the magazine in the proper way pretty quickly and not worry about it, but it is something to note. So we got the 15+1 capacity in a gun this size. It's going to be really hard to beat. Now you might want to take a look at this. This is the Rapid Engineering beaver tail. For me, I've had my thumb chewed up by the 43Xs, getting that really high dominant firing grip. Just the way that I'm drawing out of the holster from appendix, crashing my thumb down. A lot of times my thumb is riding super high. This beaver tail prevents me from getting my slide cut. I mean, my hand cut by the slide, sorry, rather. and it's pretty inexpensive. It's like a $35 part, and it comes with a little pin. You just bolt it right on. Guys, this thing is an absolute game changer for me. I can still get that really high dominant firing grip with my 43X, but it allows my thumb to be protected, and I can still get a solid claw grip out of the appendix position or 3 o'clock position, depending on where you're carrying. A lot of beaver tails stick out so far and are so pronounced that they mess up that initial draw out of the holster. Haven't run into that with this setup. It's been awesome so far. Now my optic setup, I've got the Defender CCW from Vortex. This is my favorite optic for concealed carry guns I've ever had, and I've shot almost all of them and have owned many of them over the years. It's extremely durable. It's just got a nice square shape. The glass is extremely clear. If you compare this next to like a Hollow Sun 407 or 507K, you will notice the fisheye effect a lot more on the 407, 507 than you will on this. Now, something to note, the battery life on this thing is not phenomenal. I change my battery like every 3 months to be safe, but it's got this top-loading battery tray, so you can do it super easy, and I like how robust this large top-mounted tray is versus the smaller side-mounted ones. I've had problems with those on different optics in the past. So this optic has proven to be a winner for me. I've got it in the 3 MOA size, which I like a good balance of not too small and not too big, but you can turn the brightness of this dot up extremely bright for those days when you're shooting, you know, in the sun like we do here a lot of times. I've also got some backup iron sights. These are Angry Bear arms. They're not like quite like suppressor height, but with this 43X MOS slide that direct mounts the Defender CCW, I can see my irons kind of in the bottom third, bottom fourth of the window, which is perfect for me. I don't get distracted by the irons blocking a huge chunk of the window, but they are there in the case that I have a battery connection failure, which is probably the highest possible failure that you're gonna have with these micro dots. And then if that happens, I've got a set of irons right there. I have blacked out irons in my Glock 17 as well, so I'm used to that sight picture. It's a sight picture I really like. They're just there, they don't get in the way, and I like having backup irons. In terms of internals, all my internals are completely stock. This is a stock 43X trigger, nothing to write home about. I think the 43X probably have the best triggers in Glocks. It's way better than the trigger in my Glock 17, but I don't really care that much anyways. It's not super heavy, it's not too gritty, and I'm mostly with pistol targets, I'm mostly just hammering on the trigger anyways, so I don't really notice it that much. Now, I did really like my RAM trigger in my 365s. That thing was awesome, but I just don't really want to mess with triggers anymore. I just want to leave it stock, and I can shoot perfectly comfortably well to protect myself and my family. 25 yards is no problem with a setup like this. The last thing I kind of want to talk about is just the grip setup. So I've just got the beaver tail, and then I've got just bicycle inner tube. I've tried almost all the grips. I've tried all the grip tapes. I've tried all the wraps, and bicycle inner tube is by far my favorite. I picked this up from Mike Panone over at CTT Solutions. The way, the amount of traction that you get, it like sticks to your hand. I don't know what it is about the material on bike inner tube, but I put this on every pistol now. It's better, I promise. Just give it a shot, let it wear in. It just adheres to the gun and sticks to your hand. It is by far my favorite texture I run this on any pistol, whether it's an OWB competition pistol or concealed carry pistol. Another benefit you're gonna get running this is if you're sensitive to grip texturing, it sticks way better than stippling, and it's not going to tear you up like stippling does. So I don't stipple any of my guns anymore. I don't buy any special tapes. I throw one big strip of bicycle inner tube, and if you want to make the grip fatter, like you're running a micro 9, like a Glock 43 or something, wrap it in athletic tape and then throw this over. It's going to make the grip fatter for you so you can get more control on the pistol. But for me, the 43X grip is perfect. I don't need to make it any fatter, so I just throw a strip of bike inner tube over it. Now, in terms of how I'm carrying this pistol, I have a lot of holsters for 43Xs, but I've been testing out this Vanguard 2. I had one of these a long time ago for my Glock 19. I really liked it, but went away and used normal holsters for a while. I think I'll do a whole dedicated video on all the concealed carry setups that I've got for the 43X, because I basically have all my bases covered. But I've been really digging this little Vanguard too. This is the advanced kit with the wing, and then I threw a DCC clip on here. To me, that's like a non-negotiable. I've got these on every pistol holster that I have. I like it because I can easily throw it at a 3 o'clock position. Because man, I've got kids now. My son is almost 2 years old, so he's crawling all over me, climbing all over me, wants to sit in my lap. And I really like the option to throw this back at the 3 o'clock position so he's not sitting or touching on my gun at all. Something that I kind of had a gap in my concealed carry game, you could say. I still really like appendix. I run appendix whenever I can, but I do find myself wanting to run this at the 3 o'clock position. Now, I'll dive maybe more into the details of the training and stuff like that on the dedicated video for all the concealed carry setups. Now, one thing to note with this, the retention is very, very good. Like, this pistol is not going anywhere. You can run, jump, whatever you need to do, and it's not going anywhere. But the problem is you cannot reholster this without taking this out of your pants. It's just something that you're going to have to figure out and see, will it work in your systems? Be prepared that if you have to pull this out for whatever reason, you're going to have to find the time and space to be able to take this out as well, or leave the pistol on the ground if the cops arrive, whatever you feel like you need to do. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty with that, but something to keep in mind, one potential huge downgrade with this versus a normal holster, as well as it gets very, very hot very quickly when so this isn't really something you'd want to train with on the range. I'd recommend doing a few practice reps, maybe your first practice magazine for the day out of the Vanguard, but then you're going to want to have another holster because this barrel is going to burn you very quickly. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. That is my current concealed carry Glock 43X setup. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what are you carrying? Do you like the 43Xs? Have you had any experiences with the Palmetto State Armory micro dagger magazines? Let me know. I always like reading you guys' comments. Always at the end of my videos, I like to give an offer. If you're interested, I'll send you a chronological Bible completely free of charge. I wasn't a Christian for most of my life. Became a Christian in college, 180'd my life. And if your life is kind of going a crazy direction and you don't necessarily like the way that it is, man, I would love to send you out a Bible, read it, learn about who Jesus was and what he did. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. Get out there, train hard, stay safe.